We're now going to dive a little bit into the wonderful world of device drivers, the software that controls our hardware. So if we use LSHW and looking at our class network, we're going to be able to see our network card information, the hardware that we have. But that's also going to list the module. We can list our loaded kernel modules or our drivers with lsmod. lsmod on its own is going to list all of the drivers. So we might want to drill down to the E1000 driver if that was the driver shown underneath your lshw command. Once we've found information on that, we could go through and use mod info on E1000, or if we just wanted to get the file name, we could use -n. And then finally, we can go through and take a look in our sys directory structure. Looking underneath the class for network, we're going to be able to start navigating down to start picking up information about our driver. But do you know what my recommendation is to dive out to our command line so we can start investigating our modules, and in particular, the network modules. Are you going to join me? And here we are, our favorite place where we can really start learning. Let's go through and start listing our hardware again. So if we go through and take a look at the class network using LSHW, and I can use -c or uppercase C, they're both the same, aliases for -class, and look for the network class. From here, we can go through and see the information about our network card, the description, the vendor, and so forth. But I'm going to move a little bit further down to the configuration, where I can then verify that we are in fact using the E1000 driver. We've also got a version number, and that might be useful if we're looking to try and debug issues between different machines. So let's go through and clear our screen. Using lsmod, we can list all of the modules. Now, the output will include the E1000, but of course, it's hard to see. So I can then go through and grep for E1000, and we can see then the module name, the size of the file in bytes, and there are no dependencies, no other modules that are dependent on E1000. So we can start getting some information, but of course, using mod info, we're going to get more information. If I look at the name of the module, so -n for E1000, we're looking at the file name, and we can see there the module within the file system. With that, though, we have got other information that's available. Again, it's going to be very verbose, but if I look at mod info and E1000, we're going to be able to see all of the information that's available from that module. So as I did warn you, it's going to be a little verbose. But we scroll back up, we're going to be able to see the first property that we looked at, the N for the file name, the license, and we can see the description and who wrote the software. Now, there's an awful lot of aliases, other names we can use for the module. But if we move towards the bottom of the output, we can see parameters that are supported by this module. So if we needed to control the network driver, we can use those parameters. But anyway, let's clear our screen. Can we remember? That is Control and L. Now from here, we can start drilling down into our sys file system to get an understanding of where the driver information is going to be stored. So looking then for our sys and our net class, we can see then that I've got a network card called LO for my local interface and one called EN33 for my physical network card. I can then move into that. It's a light blue directory, so it's going to be a symbolic link. So it's actually taking me somewhere else. When I look, I've got a device directory. Again, this is in light blue, so will be a link. I'm going to follow the link and it's going to take me to wherever the device is pointing to. And then as we look at the output, we have a driver symbolic link. I can follow that link. That will take me to wherever it needs to take me. It is just a matter of following the information down and reviewing what we see. Finally, here I start seeing then the module directory. Again, light blue, so it's a symbolic link. And then within here, I can see now that I'm going to stay in this directory because the directory is dark blue, a physical directory. And I can move into drivers. And then I see I've got a symbolic link again that is taking me through to the PCI and E1000 driver. But if we just stay here for a moment, and if I then try and move into this directory, when I look at PWD, it still shows me in sys and class. But if I use PWD minus uppercase P, it will show me where I'm physically located now, and you can see that I've been moved into the sys module and E1000 directory. But a nice journey in our command line.